In today's lesson, we are going to look at complex numbers as well as quadratic equation. Before I start off, my name is Sekate Brian, and I'm going to take you through mathematics, that is P425/1 and 2. Students, feel free to interact, feel free to call your colleagues also to take part in this free learning. Now, as we earlier said, we are going to look at quadratic equations and complex numbers. Now, these are the objectives, what we expect at the end of this topic. 1. By the end of this lesson, you should be able to identify a quadratic equation and its coefficients. Now, for the coefficients, we are talking about A, B, and C. 2. You should be able to solve a quadratic equation using factorization method and method of completing squares. 2. You should be able to derive the general quadratic equation. Now, here some people call it the bulldozer method. The bulldozer method. I don't know why you call it a bulldozer, but we shall get there. Now, students, before we start off, we have male students. For them, they like playing football very well. And now we may have our goal there. Those are my posts. That is my goal. Now we have our ball here, and we want the captain to score a goal here, provided that the goalkeeper is going to fall this side. Yes, this is our ball. We want the captain to kick this ball and it jumps here as well as entering the goal. Is that okay? Now we assume that the goalkeeper is going to be absent, is going to be sleeping, such that the goal does what? Enter. Now the referee will whistle and this will happen. The captain will kick this ball. It will just jump like this. It will reach a point. Yes, that is our ball. Now it will instead change the motion. It will come into the goal where we want our ball to be what? To be scored. Is that okay? And now this pitch, it will be on x-axis and the ball will take on the y-axis. Is that okay? So we shall see that this ball followed a path that is described by a quadratic equation, as we are going to see. Now we shall say that the quadratic equation is defined by ax² plus bx plus a c, the resultant will be what? A 0. Now this is a A, this is a B, and this is a C, the coefficients which we've talked about. And this is x², the highest degree should be a 2. Is that okay? It followed by 1 and a 0. Now students, it is a quadratic equation when A, it is not equal to what? To 0. If a is a 0, then that one is not a quadratic equation, because we shall have the equation of this nature, bx plus c, which is a linear equation. So that is the understanding of a quadratic equation. Also, we have to note that our sum of the roots which we are going to obtain, it will be a b, and our product of the roots will be a times c. Good. Now let us go to the methods of solving a quadratic equation. We have two methods that we use to solve quadratic equation. One, we have factorization method. Two, we have method of completing squares. Three, the generalized quadratic equation. Yes, we have the factorization method. Here we are going to be dealing with factors, completing squares, and you have to take note of this because some students fail to get the concepts. Yes, and the generalized quadratic equation, the one we call the bulldozer. Our first question: solve the quadratic equation by use of factorization method. Yes. Now, if we look at our quadratic equation, our a is what? Is 1. Yes. Our b is -3, and our a times c is what? -10. Is that okay? Now they are telling us to use factorization method to solve the quadratic equation. Therefore, if they tell us to use the factorization method, students, they need us to use the factors to solve the quadratic equation. And now we are going to look at the factors of the product. Is that okay? We are going to look at the factors of the what? Of the product. Now we shall have the factors of -10. Yes. The lowest divisor, we have a 2. 10 divided by 2, or -10 divided by 2, we shall get a -5. And we cannot say that 2 goes into 5 sometimes. Yes, therefore we are going to have -5, and the final thing will be what? 0. Therefore we are going to express our sum in this way. Are we together? Therefore our our x squared plus bx plus c, which is x squared minus 3x minus 10 is equal to 0. It is going to be expressed as x squared plus 2 of x. We are going to get this 2, we multiply it with x, then we get this -5, we multiply it with x, then minus 10, the thing will be the 0. Reason being, if we get a 2 and we add it on -5, we shall go back to -3. Is that okay? If we get a 2x minus 5x, we shall go back to -3. Now, having obtained that, we can realize that we can factor out x. here we can factor